Okay, guys, welcome back. So, we are going to look into the second part of chapter 5, which is types of wholesaling intermediaries. Before that, let's just run through what we looked at in the first session. So, first session, we looked at the definition of distribution, like what is distribution channels, types of distribution channel, where we have three types of distribution channels, which is distribution channel for consumer goods, for business to business goods, and also for services. Then we looked at channel intensity design decision. So we looked at three channel intensity design decision. Okay, that was exclusive distribution, intensive distribution, and selective distribution. So in the second part, we are going to solely focus on intermediaries or wholesaling intermediaries. Okay, we are going to look at types, or what is, first of all, we are going to look at what is wholesaling intermediaries, and then we are going to look at the types of, there are about like three types of wholesaling intermediaries that we will look shortly. Okay, so without further ado, let's just move into wholesaling intermediaries. Okay, so if you look at wholesaling intermediaries, these people are the middle person. Again, they just work as the middle person between the manufacturer and also the consumer, where they undertake the role of mediator or linkage between two parties, which is the manufacturer and also the consumer. And intermediaries are the independent group or organization where they make the product available for consumption. Okay, so wholesaling intermediaries means those intermediaries who purchase from the manufacturer in a big amount. That's what we call as wholesale. They purchase in a big amount and then they segregate into smaller amount, they repackage it into smaller amount. So these are the three types of wholesaling intermediaries. The first one is what we call as independent intermediary. Intermediary means middle person. So independent, the first one, independent intermediary, actually they are not controlled by any manufacturer, so which means they do the business, they do the wholesaling business on their own independently, where they deal with, okay, when it comes to independent intermediaries, the wholesalers will deal with many manufacturers and customers. It means like they deal with different manufacturers and different types of customer, and they are an independent business owners who just work as a wholesaler or intermediary. Okay, next is merchandise agent and brokers. Okay, a merchandise agent and brokers means where these people provide services in exchange of commission. That means they provide services, but then they get the commission from the manufacturer. It means like they provide the services on behalf of the manufacturer, and once they successfully close the deal, once they successfully manage to sell the item, the product or the service, then they will get the commission from the manufacturer itself. So these people, the merchandise agent and brokers, they will directly deal with manufacturers. Okay, that is the second one. And under merchandise agent and brokers, we have like manufacturers agent. Manufacturers agent means these people are the independent sales people from the company, from the manufacturer itself. Okay, where they have contractual arrangement with the manufacturer. It means like, okay, the manufacturer might say, okay, salesperson, if you sell 10,000 units, you will get 100 ringgit per unit, for example, as your commission. So that's how the merchandise agent and brokers they work, because they work based on commission or based on percentage of the products that they sell, and they will directly deal this with the manufacturer to get the amount. Okay, so merchandise agents and brokers, they don't buy in bulk and then they repackage it. No, they don't do that. Only the independent intermediaries, they will do that. They buy in bulk, they repackage it, and then they sell it to retailers, they resell it. Whereas merchandise agents and brokers, they don't do resale. Instead, they will go directly to sell the particular product or service from the manufacturer to the consumer. Okay, The third type of wholesaling intermediaries would be manufactured own intermediaries. So manufacturer own intermediaries means that those intermediaries or those people who is from the company itself, not a third party. Like if you say merchandise agent and brokers, these people are external people, where only the sales department could be outsourced by this manufacturer. Okay, whereas manufacturers own intermediaries, they are not the external party, they are not any parties which is sourced by the or outsourced by the manufacturer. Instead, these people are the one who's working directly under the company. Okay, that is manufacturer own intermediaries. So example like sales branches, sales offices, manufacturer showroom. Okay, a very good example that I can give it to you. Manufactured own intermediaries, like let's say you take any properties, for example house. Okay, so you can see, you can actually, if there is any new house being built, or if there's any new planning to build house in certain area, you can see the show house. Okay, so the show house, and then there will be people to explain to you about the upcoming project or about the current project, the price of the house. Then you can go into the show house, and then you can view. Then you can, if you want to buy, you can just go to the office, and then you can sign up, and you can just pay some kind of deposit and all that. So this is example of manufacturer own intermediaries. It means like there is no any middle people here. The salesperson works directly for the company. Okay, and under the manufacturer own intermediaries, the salesperson might get commission or fixed salary. Okay, it works that way. Okay, so that is that is manufactured own intermediaries. So again, three differences. Independent intermediaries are the middle person. They work individually as a wholesaler, where they take the item, they buy the item in a bulk from the manufacturer, then they repackage it and they resell it to retailers or consumers. Whereas merchandise agents and brokers, these are the third party or external party, which is outsourced by the manufacturer to sell the product or services on behalf of the manufacturer. Whereas manufacturer own intermediaries are those sales people that is directly working under the manufacturer. Okay, so that's the differences between these three. Okay, so these are the three types of wholesaling intermediaries. Okay, let's look at the next one, which is retailing. Okay, so we already looked at distribution channel, we already looked at intermediaries or wholesaling intermediaries. Now we're going to look at retailing. Okay, remember this flow that I have actually shown to you earlier in the first session. Okay, let's just recap this flow so that you understand where are we now. Okay, manufacturer we already looked at, distributor we already looked at. Okay, now we're going to look at the retailer, these people. Okay, this one no need lah, because we are the one. Okay, so we're going to look at these people. So retailers, let's look at what exactly these retailers are doing in the market. Okay, so if you look at retailing, okay, I can give you a lot of examples when it comes to retailing. So these are some of the famous brands like youths like you, like me, loves to go. Okay, like in Malaysia, Uniqlo. Okay, those of you who loves to buy clothes from Uniqlo, this brand should be familiar with you. Okay, like me, I love buying pants from Uniqlo because their pants, they have this legging pants, crop pants, which is quite comfortable to wear. Of course, I'm not being the ambassador, don't worry. Okay, cold storage in Johor, I found it to be very less outlet of cold storage. I think so far I've never seen any cold storage outlet. Okay, Walmart is not in Malaysia, it is in US. Okay, this Walmart is actually one of the biggest retailing in the world, one of the biggest retailing in the world, apart from apart from Tesco, and Tesco is in Malaysia. Okay, so that is one of the biggest retailing. Okay, Walmart. So let us just look at what is retailing exactly. Okay, if you look at retailing, it involves all the activities in selling products. Okay, selling products and services directly to final use or final customer use. So if you look at wholesalers again, they do resales. It means like they take from manufacturer, they repackage, and then they resell it. Okay, whereas retailers, they don't do that. Retailers, they will directly sell to consumers for final use of the product. Okay, so you see here, retail is the sales of good to end users. End users means us, consumers, and not for resale. Okay, they use it for consumption. Okay, which involve the sales of merchandise from a single point of purchase directly to a customer who intends to use that product. Okay, which that means, okay, a single point of purchase means the retailers purchase from wholesalers, and then they sell it to consumers without making any amendments or repackaging for that particular product. Okay, so that is retailing. Okay, and if you look at those famous retailers in Malaysia, I can outline a few that will be like Tesco, IKEA. It is IKEA, not IKEA. Okay, IKEA, Cold Storage. Okay, these are the retailers. Even Lazada, Shopee, Amazon.com, these are retailers as well. But the difference is Tesco, IKEA, Cold Storage, Giant, all these are physical store retailers. It means like there is bricks and mortar. Okay, it means like there is physical shop. Whereas online retailers are like Amazon.com, Lazada, Shopee, 11th Street. Okay, all these are example of online retailers, which we will look at the last part of this chapter. Okay, so now we are going to look at why is retailing important. You see, we have already looked at wholesalers. Wholesalers are already there in the market. Why do we still need a retailer, another person? Okay, the first, it allows manufacturer to focus on producing goods without having to be distracted, which means the manufacturer here, they can focus on producing quality goods where they can put in more effort, more time, more energy in developing the product without thinking where can sell, who I can sell to, this customer will buy or not, or which channel can I sell this items to. So manufacturers don't really need to think about that. So that's why they are using retailers to sell the product on behalf of the manufacturer. Is just to save the manufacturers time so that they don't get distracted and they can just spend that whole lot of time and energy in producing other quality products. Or what's happening with my okay, next, offer additional services to retail transaction like personal shopping, consultation, gift wrapping. Okay, another best example here that I can give it to you is like Parkson or Justco, Aeon. Okay, if you walk into this kind of these are retailers as well, because they buy from wholesalers and then they sell it to the end users, consumers like us. So retailers, you see, manufacturer, they cannot provide all these additional services like personal shopping, consultation, gift wrapping, because sometimes they don't have that facilities, or they might not have those expertise. Okay, maybe their expertise is just to produce the product. okay. And they might not have that resources to do all that, so their department is only to produce products. So what they will do, they will hire these retailers. So in this retailing place, in order to boost the sales, the retailers will provide additional values or additional services like gift wrapping. If you walk into Parkson, you purchase any items from Parkson or any items from Justco, Eon Justco, they have this customer service department where they help you to do free wrapping. Okay, so this is some additional benefits that you can get where manufacturers are not able to give this, instead retailers are able to give you that. The third importance of retailing, why retailing must exist there in the market, is retailers should make the purchase of goods easy for consumers. It means like they put the products on the shelf and it is easier for consumers to go and choose to buy and then to just consume it. Okay, where they don't need to find, oh, I want to buy Apple Watch, so I need to go to Apple's factory to buy. No, they don't need to do that. Okay. Next, retailing is about displaying products, describing the feature and benefit of the product. I just mentioned display the products means you have many other competitors' product as well. You have all the competing products. You put it on the shelf, okay, where consumers can choose based on the benefits, based on the feature of the product and all that. So retailers can provide all these additional features or additional values. So if you walk into Justco, Eon Justco, the Thebrau there, if you have been there, or the Tesco there, you can just go. If you go to if you go to the shampoo shelf, you can see all the competing brands shampoo will be there on the shelf. So you can just choose according to which you feel is beneficial for you, according to the advice that you have gotten before. So you can just choose there. Okay. Lastly, another importance of retailing, stocking products, processing payment, and doing whatever it takes to get the right product at the right price to the right customer at the right time. Okay, so this one, what retailers they will do, like Tesco, they buy from wholesalers, they will do the inventories. Okay, they will stock the product. So let's say if the particular brand shampoo already sold out, so they will restock it. Okay, they will buy earlier and they will keep it, okay, a certain amount, then they will restock it. And they do process payments. People buy, people purchase, then people will pay for the item. Okay, and they will make sure they get the right product at the right price and to the right customer at the right time. Okay, so that is why retailing is important. So these are the 5 main importance of why retailing exists in the market. Okay, so what are the different types of retail stores? So if you can see here, I've actually put in a few. Okay, maybe some are like Isoton. Maybe you might not have seen it before. In Johor, I'm not sure whether we have it or not. In KL, we do have it. Okay, where you can get all the branded items there. Okay, what is this? This is Lulu hypermarket. I don't think so. This is in KL as well. Okay, Giant is here in Johor. Tesco we can see in Johor. Yeah, you might be wondering why I'm talking about KL and Johor. My native is not Johor. I actually shifted here like about 8 months back, 7 or 8 months back now. Okay, so that's why things are new, places are new, stores are new here for me. Okay, so let's come back to our topic. What are the different types of retail stores? Okay, so we are going to look into 2 types of retail stores. We are going to look at 2 types of retailing, which is store retailing and non-store retailing. So under the store retailing, okay, let's look here. Under the store retailing, we have 6. Okay, store retailing means those retail channels or stores that come in all shapes and sizes. It means, I mentioned earlier, they do have this physical shop, brick and mortar shop. Okay, and they can be categorized by the amount of service that they offer to the depth of their product line. It means like how much services they are offering and the depth, the how deep is their product line. Okay, so let's look at the six let's just run through this store retailing. The first is convenience store. Convenience store, if you look at it, the characteristic of convenience store, it carry a limited number of frequently purchased items. Okay, remember, it carries, convenience store carry limited number of frequently purchased items, and they cater to consumer willing to pay a premium price just because the buying process is easier. And a very good example of convenience store is like 7-Eleven, KK Mart, a Family Mart. All this comes under convenience store. So if you walk into the stores, you can see limited number of frequently purchased items. Okay, maybe those items like a chocolate, toothbrush, um, sanitary items. These are the items that we will frequently purchase it, so they will store it in a limited amount. And if you walk into like 7-Eleven, the price will be a little bit higher than the normal shops. This is, the price is higher. One thing is because it is open 24 hours, like KK Mart, 7-Eleven, Family Mart, all these stores are being open 24 hours for our convenience. So it is convenient to buy the product, therefore the price is a little bit at the higher end. Okay, the next type of store retailing is supermarket. Okay, supermarket, they carry few product line, but they offer good selection within the lines that they sell. Supermarket normally the one near to your housing area. Okay, and often offer high level of knowledgeable service. Okay, that is supermarket. And if you look at supermarket, normally the foods, they normally carry the food items. Okay, and they have wide selection of edibles and non-edibles product. Edibles and non-edible means those product that you can eat, those product that you cannot eat. Okay, that is supermarket. Normally supermarket would be around your housing area, around the residential area, not very big, not very small. Okay, the third is specialty store. By the name itself, you can know that they carry special or exclusive product, where often they those those salesperson in the specialty store, they will have high level of knowledge about their product and service. Okay, and if you look into the specialty store, let's say if I take I'm not sure whether you all know this or not, Sasa is a store where it sells perfume. Okay, so Sasa is a store here in Jasco Tebrau. You can get it. Normally Sasa, they have a lot of brand perfumes, and it's a little bit cheaper than the exclusive brands or exclusive stores. You can actually check it out in Jasco Tebrau ground floor. Once you enter, you can see the Cotton On, molten chocolate. The beside the molten chocolate got Cotton On. If you walk further, you can see, I think just opposite to Cotton On is Sasa. Okay, you can go into that. Okay, and Sasa, they do have a lot of good selection of perfumes with good price, I would say. Okay, so that is example of specialty store. So if you want to check out, you can actually walk into the Jasco Tebrau. No doubt you can still go. Make sure you have your QR code, QR and scan code, that thingy, that app in your mobile, so easier you can just walk into that. Okay, let's come this discount stores. So discount stores are those stores that sells off price items. Okay, where they buy at lesser than regular wholesalers price, and they sell lesser than the retailers. Okay, example of discount stores that I can give it to you, like factory outlet store. So factory outlet store is owned by manufacturer itself, and they sell all these defective items. It means like those items that got little bit of errors, little bit of defects, so they give higher discount. or sometimes warehouse clubs, like you get membership, you get any clubs membership, and then you can get price even cheaper than the retail price. So that is discount stores. Guys, got it? The next is department stores. Department stores, they sell broad range of items, but and then they do offer good selection within each product line. That is department store. Department store is in between supermarket and hypermarket. That is department store. Okay. Next is hypermarket. Okay, hypermarket is those large retail outlets like Jasco, Tesco. All these will come under hypermarket, where they sell large variety of goods or large variety of products under one roof at discounted rate. Okay, if you walk into Tesco, you walk into Giant, you can get varieties of household items, like almost all the household items you can get there, and the price normally would be at a discount rate. Yes, normally if you purchase at Tesco or Giant, price would be much cheaper. At Jasco, I'm not very sure. Any of you have experience? Maybe you might know, because I don't normally purchase household items at Jasco, but I feel Jasco a little bit at pricey end, a little bit as compared to Tesco or Giant. So these are the example of hypermarket. Okay, those are the those are the store retailing, 6 store retailing that we have already looked at. Remember, make sure you know the difference between these 3. I'm sure you're going to get a little bit confused. Sorry, something wrong with my phone. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, so I'm sure you have a little bit confusion between supermarket, department store, and hypermarket. Please do your research here before you come back to me to ask me what is the difference between these 3. I'm not sure, I'm confused. Okay, but make sure you do your research first. Okay, still if you don't understand, obviously you can look for my help. Next is non-store retailing. Non-store retailing means those like online retailers where you don't have this physical store, you don't have this brick and mortar. Okay, let's look at what are those non-store retailing. Guys, a little bit more, bear with me. Yeah, we're gonna end it. Direct selling, very 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 obvious. Those MLM like Amway, Coway, all these are direct selling. People come to you, people do all this multi-level marketing. Okay, so these are the example of direct selling, where they don't have normally they would not have physical shop. They just work as an agent or broker for that particular business or manufacturer or company. Next is telemarketing, which we always get annoyed. Okay, receive call offering some kind of, like, let's say if you're a Maxis customer, and normally Astro loves to do this telemarketing. They will call you, they will offer you some. Now if you ask me, those of the packages that they are offering right now has no value or has very less value. Okay, so telemarketing, there are two ways of telemarketing, where we call it as inbound marketing and outbound marketing. Inbound marketing means you as a consumer, you receive a pamphlet saying Maxis $0 can get latest iPhone, monthly payment 150 ringgit, 24 months contract. You receive pamphlet, you say, wow, okay, I'm going to call the number 012 XXXXX. Wow, I'm going to call. So you call to Maxis, you inquire about the product, and sometimes you can even purchase it over the phone. This is what we call as inbound telemarketing. Inbound means like receiving the call. Outbound telemarketing means where you receive call from this businesses like Maxis, Astro, offering some kind of specialized product or promotion just for you alone, so called lah. Okay, so that is telemarketing. So these are the differences. So under telemarketing, you have inbound and you have outbound. Remember that. Okay. Automatic vending machine. Okay, even in our college we do have it, beside the food court, or not to really say food court, like it's a canteen actually. Cafeteria also not up to that level. Okay, still a canteen. Okay, so the one that beside that, okay, the vending machine where you can, I think the vending machine you can vend Maggie, some chocolates, because I never used it before, some soft drinks. Okay, so this is example of non-retailing store. Okay, internet retailing, like you sell products through Instagram, through Facebook, through all kind of social media, Pinterest. Okay, that is internet retailing, where you use internet as a medium to do your retailing, selling. And vendors, so vendors are normally those people who supply products, supply services. Okay, that is vendor. So these are the non-store retailing. Thank you, we have done. Let's just recap before I end this. A short recap. Okay, so today in this session we looked at types of wholesaling intermediaries, and we looked at 3 types: independent, merchandise, manufacturer owned. I've already explained in detail on that. Then we looked at retailing. Retailing means where you buy the goods and sales goods from your manufacturer, and then you resell it to you sell it to your end users. It means like you don't repackage to resell it, you will directly sell it. Okay, and then we looked at why retailing is important. We looked at 5 points of why retailing is important. And then something is wrong with my phone. And then we looked at different type of retail stores. Okay, all these are example of retail store. Okay, mynews.com will come under the convenience store. Okay, so we have store retailing here, convenience store. So we have about 6 types of store retailing, which means physical store. And then we looked at 5 types of non-store retailing. It means like you just use virtual selling. Okay, where you don't have any brick and mortar, you don't have physical store for it. Yay, we are done with chapter 5 totally. Okay, if there's any part that you feel that you need more clarification, more explanation, definitely I'm going to cover this chapter for your revision part. But you can still ask me, still check your doubts, provided you do your research first. Okay, that's it guys, take care, stay safe, bye bye.